friends, Christy here with Little Roots Ranch and the turkeys. And today is such a beautiful day, and it's like I've got that, I've been so busy, and so I'm just getting around to making the video, but it's that sunset hour, so everything's all golden looking. But anyways, today I want to tell you about a pepper experiment that I'm working on, and so I'm just really excited to share. But to give a little bit of backstory, so in the Pacific Northwest, at least with most anybody I've talked to, pepper plants don't get as big as other areas. Like if you're from the south or the east or whatever, and you're used to seeing pepper plants that look like small trees, that's not how they get here, or at least not to anybody I know that grows, or definitely not me. Pepper plants, they really struggle. And so what my experiment is double planting them. And I'll tell you how I arrived at that. So last year, I had a little bit of a compost problem. And so the compost I got was, okay boys, crazy turkeys. So the compost that I got was, it was lacking. It basically turned into cement, and it caused all kinds of problems for me last year. That was really terrible. And so one of the things is I had my pepper starts, and they were the most hideous pepper plants I've ever seen in my life. They had a smell to them. I was confident that they weren't going to amount to absolutely anything because they looked so terrible. And so I put them outside anyways, because I was like, well, it feels so criminal to just like throw them in the trash or something. And so, but what I did was I planted them about 6-inch spacing, which is small for pepper plants, just to kind of like put them in there and like, okay, well, I didn't kill these directly, but they're just going to kind of die on their own type of thing. And I'll tell you, those pepper plants produced really well, considering like the way they looked and the way that they were developing. Like I did not have high hopes. Then over the winter, one of my farmer friends on a farming Facebook group was talking about that she double plants it was a post from years ago that I stumbled across, but she double plants, meaning like instead of having plant spacing, it's plant spacing, plant spacing. And so, I said, hey, this is an old thread, but I wanted to follow up on this. I kind of had a little bit of a similar experience with some neglected pepper plants. Is this something you're still doing? Does it work out well? And she responded back and she's like, yeah. She's like, honestly, I'll never go back. She's like, I get double the yield. She said that she doesn't get any loss of yield, like for one plant versus two plants spread apart, two plants spread apart versus two plants together. And she's like, they love being close to each other. And I was like, interesting. I was like, well, what about your other spacing? Do you change that? And she's like, no, I still use the regular spacing if I was planting a single. And I was like, okay. So I was thinking in my head, I was like, I want to try that, And so that's what I'm doing. So I went all in on my greenhouse. These are my peppers. These are strawberries, by the way, but these are all of my peppers. And so, excuse me, I don't know if you can tell. Oh, something ate the tip off of this. I'll have to find. Anyways, but as you can tell, I think it might be too close. What about here? You should see there. So here I've got two plants, if you can see those, and they're about, 2 inches apart, 3 of my fingers. And so I've got, some of them are little plants and all of that, but if you look out, I've got them all planted next to each other, which is really awesome. So I guess I'm going all in on the pepper plant experiment, and obviously you'll be able to follow along with the tours and all that stuff to see how it's going. But I really like it, and I think it's gonna, assuming that it works in a proper trial as opposed to my unofficial trial last year, I think it's gonna be the way that I do things, because I definitely was able to get twice the amount of peppers planted in the same space. And but by the way, I know that I have one friend who grows really big pepper plants. I need to figure out what she does. But I was going to ask the community to share if you grow really big pepper plants or you have a trick to them or whatever, then if you could share that down in the comments so that we all can learn from you, that would be amazing, because I definitely feel like the best part of YouTube is the community. And then the other thing I wanted to address is some of you may have the question of to pinch or not to pinch. And some of you might be like, what are you talking about, to pinch? So on many plants, like dahlias or, well, pretty much all the flowering ones, and even with peppers, a lot of times, like if you get a couple sets of leaves where, and then you cut above them, which is like pinching them, it causes a bushier plant. And so I think that a lot of the southern growers pinch their plants, but pinching does cause it to, it takes a few weeks later to get peppers. Now, if you heat up really fast in the summer, then I can see that. But up here in the Pacific Northwest, it doesn't heat up as much. So for me, I really, really need to all the time that I can get and all the heat and all that stuff. Not only that, we don't have as much sun to sustain an extra amount of peppers on the same plant, like in trying to utilize all of those nutrients and stuff. So if you are a pincher, and you've had luck with that, then, also you can share that down below. But for me personally, I haven't done that. And I don't think I'm going to. In a future year, I might try a little experiment, but this is my first year growing in the greenhouse. So it's hard to tell because I can't look at previous plants and know, whether it worked out or not. But anyway, so I just wanted to share with you, and I'll grab the camera and bring it closer so you can kind of see the pepper plants. But let me grab that. Okay, so here you can see the two plants right next to each other, and there's one there below. I've got about a foot spacing, about 12 to 16 to 18 inches all around. Oh, they look so pretty with the sun in the background. I think these are my Serrano plants here. Again, they're all double planted. That one's just a little baby one as its sidekick. And then my jalapenos are all over here. And then I've got, what's on the other side of that? Serranos, jalapenos. Oh, and then my shishito peppers are over there. But anyway, so yeah, I love peppers. I'm really excited to be growing them in the greenhouse. I'm also might be growing some peppers outside, though I wasn't sure. And I had really bad pepper germination this year. So I think all my peppers might be inside. But anyway, so that's my experiment. If you've ever double planted them, share your comments down below. I'd love to read those. And happy pepper gardening, happy gardening, and thank you for watching. Bye.